welcome to my tutorial with alcohol markers. We're going to be doing from my book, we're going to be doing Woodgrain, and it's super easy and I'm going to show you exactly how. So in the book, this is the page, it's 2 pages to show you the steps, okay? So let's get started. Now we start with a simple base. Okay, I've just got a plank shape here. You want to take a white paint pen. I use Posca, and you want to do some wood scratchy texture shapes. Okay, now you can't see this, obviously, white on white. However, then once you let it dry, which I did earlier, and then add your shade. These are the colours we're going to be using mainly. So then go in with your light base. I've used a soft tan E160. I'm using Ohuhu Honolulu alcohol markers. This tutorial is alcohol markers, and I don't know if you can see, if I hold that up to the light, that the white resists. So I've just made this little one as an example. The white resists. Okay, so after that, what you want to do is start doing some wood grain design. So we'll go with a bit of a knot shape. Okay, I'm using the next colour up. This is obviously a brown, a little bit on the yellowy side. This super relaxing, easy, quick, fast to do, kind of mindless really, and fun. So just do your design how you wish to do it, and then after that, then we want to take a sort of, this is like a colourless blender, but it has got a slight colour to it, and we want to just gently tease some of that colour across. We're just spreading, and once it dries, the drying will do its magic and create another effect. So you've already got the base texture of the white ink, scratchy lines underneath, and then you're just blending. You don't have to do it for every line. You can do some long, and some of it, I suppose you could look at it like a bit sort of, I don't know, watercolour effect. I'm just doing this quickly because my videos take forever to upload to YouTube. Okay, so it'll do its magic as it dries, and you are off to a great start. And then the next layer, which is all, as I said, detailed in the book, is taking a darker pen, and I tend to use the brush tip end, but sometimes I use the chisel end. Those are the 2 ends I get in my set. Depends what you want to achieve. I'm just doing extremely thin lines to give a darker shade, and I'm not doing it everywhere. All right, now because I haven't let any of this dry, this darker shade is going to spread a little anyway, which we do want to happen. If it wasn't spreading anyway, then what I do is just blend it in a little bit So this is just adding an extra shade, an extra bit of contrast and dimension to your wood grain. You don't have to do it everywhere, you can do broken bits. I'm just doing this as quickly as I can for the sake of doing a demo. Okay, so you can go back and use, say, a paler shade or the previous shade just to blur and blend some bits, but you don't have to blur or blend them all because it just all increases the texture that you have on your page. Okay, we also want to go in with a mid shade of brown, or I've got here sort of like a mid grey. I'm going to use the chisel tip end actually and just do, for another added dimension, a few very faint broken lines on the very tip of, using the very fine and doing tapered quick lines and some dots, dashes. So it's quite fun, it's very therapeutic. A lot of this technique for my wood grain anyway is a bit mindless fun and scribbling. Yeah, I've done it on a big area, but that's a good way to start to gain your confidence. So you can see that gives yet another bit of texture, and yeah, we're more or less there with it. Once everything has dried and things have spread a little bit, if you wanted to, you could, this is a sort of pine shade. If you wanted to, you could go in with a very light yellow lemon colour, very light and lemon, and once this all dries, you'll see it obviously changes because inks will have spread and bled a bit. Entirely up to you, but this is the pine colour. And then afterwards you want to take this grey or another grey, and literally this is probably not going to work because everything's, I've not let anything dry, but to make this single plank stand out a bit better, I've done a bit of grey there, and if this pen, white ink pen, will work, a bit of highlight, glossy highlight here. Is this going to work? A bit of gloss, white pen. Obviously I can go over that once that dries, but you can see having a bit of shade makes it stand out. And if you want this plank to stand out a little bit more, go for, you know, a bit of black underneath. Yeah, make it stand out, a bit darker black, but you get the idea, hopefully. And that will change again once it's thoroughly dried. You can always go back in and tweak it, add a few more dots of the darker brown if you wish. And if you want to do a darker colour wood, then obviously go for it. And I have done a darker one in my book. This is one of my drawings that was practice for going into the book. And then I haven't put it in this book, but I had this great idea just before I was filming that why not turn this into tiles? So I literally did. Okay, so there is a step-by-step in my book for doing tiles, which is a bit like what I've just shown you there with the shade. It's just a shade and the highlight. You're just doing squares. Get a ruler with pencil. You want your grey, your black shadow, some white highlights. But how great does that look? Glossy, shiny and lovely. And then I also went a little bit further, and there are images in my book of how to do these in gold. This is one of the practice pages, and actually applied the wood technique to some of these images, and loads of fun. So yeah, have fun, mix it up, have a good time, enjoy yourself, practice. Or obviously you could just do, you know, very simple wood. Keep it simple, you know, just 2 colours, some knots, not really anything thrilling, a bit of colourless to add to it. Nah. We want fun, a bit of realism, and to challenge ourselves. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed my quick guide, and I hope you have lots of fun playing around with wood grain. Bye.